It's great to have you back on the show. In case you're just joining in, this is Rise and Shine Daily, reaching from the stables of Spectrum Television. And yes, indeed, in case you don't know, you can follow this conversation on our social media handles on Facebook and Instagram with the handle at SpectrumTvNG, and our website is www.spectrumtv.ng.
That's
and
correct.
Hand you over to Becky now.
Thank you for joining us once again. So we have a guest, a beautiful guest in our midst. We've always had beautiful people, of course. In the person of SOLAPE AKINPELU, she's the Nigerian Chapter Director of Women in Tech, an international organization with a double mission to close the gap and to help women embrace technology. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so
good
much.
morning.
Thank you. Beautiful people, beautiful studio.
Oh, thank you. I like the part of beautiful studio.
Yeah, I'm
Welcome.
swinging like,
Thank
come
you
on,
so
don't be
much.
jealous.
Thanks for
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, did you spend your Christmas doing tech, or you actually spent it at home?
Oh, well, even at home, you know.
You're still doing tech?
We all engage with tech, actually.
You have a point there.
Right.
Everybody, right? Let's dive right in. We're actually talking about bridging the gap in technology, especially having the gender-based, issues. Yeah. So let's jump right to you personally. So tell us about some of the challenges you faced and how you've overcome it, being a woman in tech.
All right. Awesome. So you know, I got into tech and realized that all along I've been a woman in tech.
In other words, it didn't hit you.
It didn't hit you.
It didn't. So I got into tech, like core tech, when I launched a product of mine called Harvest. Yes, which gives women easier access to financial services, right? And that was how I became a big player in tech, as a founder, as a product manager. And then going back to Women in Tech is a global organization, as you rightly mentioned. We are present in over 100 countries.
Wow.
But with 42 official chapters. Nigeria was the 40th chapter. After we've launched in Kuwait and Malaysia. So when you look at the cluster of women in tech, gosh, it's our space, it's for women.
Exactly.
Yeah, but when you look at the, larger ecosystem, right, we are like a speck. It's just like, specks of dust here and there. And that's why it's, we've got to be intentional, we've got to be deliberate about closing that gender gap generally. And then closing it in tech too. So right in Women in Tech is very empowering.
That's right.
Right, but in the larger ecosystem, at times it gets intimidating. But we're here.
Yes.
All right, now, according to a certain research that asks women specific questions about their biggest challenge as women in tech, the most response came in at 14.60%, which had to be the fact that women are not being taken seriously as far as that industry is concerned. Tell me your experience. How has it been like?
Okay, well, you see, that statistics, it's persistent at like 15% across markets.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that women are not being taken seriously. I think that in itself is rooted in culture. It's rooted in so you look at early education, EYFS. You see the girls who do cooking skills, do home economics. The boys, let them do STEM. That's where it starts from. So the girls just typically feel like, for us, it's, home management, clean up, and do all of that. And then so it gradually proceeds naturally that way. And not by being not taken seriously, I wouldn't say that is the challenge. I just feel like, because I'm a woman in tech and I have, co-men in tech, people in tech who make the larger, like men who make the larger composition of people in tech actually come to me to ask about challenges, especially when it comes to product building. Because I'll tell you for free, women are great product builders, even in the tech ecosystem. Right, so you have men, for instance, when we started Harvest, I had this dream of we're going to have, a fully female dev team, you know, back-end engineers, dev, front-end dev. We couldn't. It was really hard. Yes. We only got our first team member on a dev team, I think in October, and that person is UI UX. And that was when the call came for women in tech, I couldn't resist it because it was a major issue, right? So, but when you now look at product management team in tech, it's full of women, right? Because they can think through the entire, so how do you feel here? What do you, you know, empathy at every point, empathy at every point. And tech is not, I would just like to emphasize again that tech is not core coding. You don't have to be, you know, coding. That isn't, you know, tech. And that's why all of us, we are in tech. We are using tech one way or the other. So if we embrace that fact that tech isn't core coding, we'll know that, you know, a lot of women can be in tech. It could be in marketing it could be in product, as I mentioned. It could be in design and all of that, and then you help people, you know, adopt technology and use technology platforms to solve problems.
We are still talking about bridging the gap here. So why is, you know, gender equality in technology very important? Because like you rightly said, he thinks that women are not taken seriously. Now, why is bridging that gap very important?
It's very important for two things. Like I dimension it this way. I said that tech needs women as much as women needs tech. Tech needs women. Tech needs women for building holistic products, building diversified, you know, products. Let me analyze that. In 2014, Apple launched an app, their health app. We know Apple, you know how thorough they are and all of that. That health app could, you know, of course, take your temperature, probably check your fat level. I mean, it was thorough. But guess what? They skipped one thing, and it was in 2014, just 2014 here. That app could not track periods for women.
Whoa.
It was a major blunder for Apple because the press came heavy, they hit hard. So what I'm saying is that if they had involved women in that process, cramps, at least you know, maybe at the point you're building, you feel the cramps or your hormonal imbalance or something. The women would have contributed heavily, and they would have been able to create an app that was truly an health app, and they would have avoided, you know, that hit. It took them about a year before they could, you know, stabilize that. And I've seen a lot of products too that they were, you know, in using it, you just realize that it's probably not easy, or it wasn't, women were not considered in building such products. It's just the same thing. We were talking about tech. The financial services, as I said before I started, I look at financial, I'm like, it is not built for women. We just have to do something that gives women easier access, you know, to financial services. And because tech is an enabler, right, it helps you accelerate and solve big problems in simple ways. And that's why we need more women in that process, so we can truly simplify solutions for big problems.
Okay, now let's jump right into statistics here again. Now, what percentage really, from your own estimation, would you say represents the woman folk in the tech business?
Oh, so like I said, it's a persistent 15% of women to men across markets.
Now, what exactly do you think could be done to make that look better?
We go back to the basics. So I can say that a lot of women should get interested in technology, should transition. We'll get there, actually. But we have to go back to the basics. Otherwise, this problem will persist and would have to be fixing it at later stages. How much do we encourage our girls to participate in STEM? Right? How much do we, even after studying, right, do we ease them into, you know, STEM roles? It's one thing to study, it's another to ease you into STEM roles, right? So we need to, you know, back that up at primary stages, and people who are matured, who want to cross into tech, should know that it's easy transitioning into tech. I transitioned into tech less than 2 years ago.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
so
amazing.
You kept saying STEM. Could you define that for the sake of a lay person?
Yes, it's sciences, engineering, mathematics.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, let's look at women right now. Now, women supporting women. Coming from your angle, how can we support women techpreneurs? Because we have women entrepreneurs everywhere in the country, all over the world. We have women spring up into things. How easy can we convince a woman this world is also for you to come into the technology world?
All right, so that's the beautiful thing about women in tech.
Okay.
That is our women in tech. Excuse me, please, because the ideal woman in tech,
okay,
right, by some definitions, would be someone who is in core tech, either as a product manager and all of that.
Coder.
Yeah, or core coder. But for us, we are for women who are in tech and women who are tech enthusiasts who wants to transition. And that's why we put calls out. We have 4 focus areas, which is one, advocacy, part of this,
okay,
social inclusion, business and education. So those are our 4 pillars of women in tech. At the moment, we are running a program which is free, totally free for women. We want to skill up 1,000 girls and women for free. It was sponsored by VBank, right? So my call for women to get into tech or to support women in tech is by because see, I have seen it works like magic. Right, we have thousands of women on our platform now because they are leveraging on tech. You don't have to walk into a bank and start filling a form. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you are, you sell clothes. You can leverage technology to accelerate that business.
Now let me put a pause right there.
Okay.
We still have women. We feel that handling phones are very common. I mean, you have your phone, that's technology, But, there are still women out there who do not even have a clue what it means to handle a technology. Now, what awareness is your company creating to, battle this? Okay,
well, first I would say it's not a company because we are an NGO,
okay,
right?
Okay, thank you.
But I would say that in itself is a challenge, that digital divide. So when you look at the broad spectrum,
yeah,
of the
SpectrumTv.
When you look at the broad spectrum of the problem, it's easier to close for people who at least understand the use of, at the minimum, smartphones, right? For people who get into that program for free, as I said before, at least we expect that you have maybe a smartphone. You could be learning data analytics, data science, and all of that, which, are simple, by the way. But for women who cannot even handle that, right, it's a tad more difficult. But like I said, it's layered. So you want to fix the ones that you can easily co-opt right into technology, and then they use that to solve personal problems, to solve global issues, to solve global challenges, and then you can now drill down further into other categories.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question, and it has to do with the fact that most times there's this notion in everybody's head, most person's heads, that the tech industry is pretty much relegated to just young people, right? I like the look on your face. Hold your thoughts. We'll take a short break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll get an answer to that question. Please stay. Don't go anywhere. It's great to have you back. In case you're just joining in, this is Rise and Shine Daily, reaching from the stables of Spectrum Television. And just before the break, we're trying to find out an answer to a key question, which made our guest look, squeeze our face. All right, let's jump right back into it, yeah? And I asked the question. There's a very strong notion of belief system that tech is pretty much in the purview or grasp, so to speak, of the young people, and that older people have nothing to do with it. What's your take on that?
Oh, well, it's a blurry one, actually.
Okay.
So firstly, I'd like to, address the adoption, especially when we look at ourselves. We are actually developing, okay? A lot of us, or a lot of 80s babies or 70s babies, had to literally go into a computer school to learn ASDF, LKG, enter key.
I remember that.
Right, so if you look at that, it made adoption slower for those generation, right? Sure. Unlike 90s kids that they got their Xbox, and they literally grow on tech devices. It will be different. Their understanding, their usage, their applications will be entirely different. But that being said, as an 80s kid myself, I believe that it's more about mindsets. right? So you can actually open your mind
Yeah.
to adopting this, okay, and then you soar at it. So if you look across the country, if you look at the tech ecosystem and you look at leading people in tech, you'd see people in their 40s actually, right? And as I said, again, let's demystify. Tech does not have to do with coding. You do not have to code. Because a lot of people just think that, oh, I will now be looking at codes, be writing codes, be smashing codes and all of that. No, it isn't for me. I do not code, for instance. As I said, I'm in tech, but I'm a product person in tech, right? I have a product, I'm a founder. So, again, there are many aspects of technology, and we just need to disabuse, you know, that notion that maybe some certain age, who even defines what's old?
Okay, it's relative.
It's very relative. Who defines what's old, right? I have a friend who is 52 and is as young as any young person can be or feel.
Okay, great.
Now, we understand that outside the country, outside Nigeria, we have a lot of support going into the tech world now.
From government?
From government, yes. So in Nigeria, what can you say is the situation? Do we have supports from the government, you know, towards this tech world?
Okay, well, in fairness, I see some anticipation, some, you know, activities, right, in that sector. But what I see is a gap that is for such interventions. Because when I look at the government, I see them too as product builders. To build products, you need feedback, you need, you know, arm linking with the eventual users, right? So if you want to make tech accessible, build a thriving tech ecosystem, you certainly need a great level of stakeholder engagement so that you build solutions that, you know, typically work for the people you're building for. That being said, I believe that a lot more can be done.
Now let's look at policies, because we have different policies all over Nigeria. Now, are there policies that you are aware of that, you know, has to do with maybe supporting the tech, especially in bridging the gap?
The gender gap.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the answer to that would be it would be broad policies even supporting the gender. I think that in some states there have been some states are adopting that more than others, maybe for maternity leave, because all of these things, they come together, right? But for tech specific, so I think that tech, we still, at that level, we still treat tech as a nice to have. We don't see it as, you know, a basic thing, right? So I do not, you know, I'm not aware of, you know, major policies.
Let's jump right into this one. I know that the government has some tech hubs. I know there are tech hubs scattered around, but how would you rate the functionality vis-a-vis the fact that we're looking at empowering, so to speak, the women folk as far as the tech business is concerned?
You know, to be honest, the most I've seen in thriving hubs are privately run hubs. Okay? So when I see privately run hubs, for instance, the program I mentioned before, you see them coming out, reaching out, getting more for their people. So at the end of the day, you know, when they say your salvation is in your hands.
It's personal.
So it's personal, because even if the government creates all the hubs and then you don't get to use them, or you don't. So at the end of the day, it's you listening to conversations like this, joining communities and deciding to take that bold step.
Now, in your own words, how can we improve, you know, the tech, as in women coming into the tech world? How can we improve the, should I call the salvation call, in quotes?
It's through conversations like this. I mean, in 5 years, 10 years ago, I don't think we'd be having conversations like this. You know, it was, let's come talk about problem, and all of that. Right, so it's through conversations like this, it's through organizations like ours, with a global agenda to skill up 5 million women, you know, before 2030, right? So it's a global goal, and then it all goes up there. So it is by, and trust me, there are, as a matter of fact, I feel personally offended when I see people saying I don't know where to start, because there are tons of programs, you know, happening every time. So just get out there, you know. We all have some smartphones. I mean, if you're listening to this, I want to believe that probably exactly you've got some smartphone. Look up and you see tons of programs.
Now you said tons of programs. Just quickly, for free.
Like
Can you enumerate some of these programs? Because it could be a woman out there like, okay, so which one will I go for? So
okay, so I'll speak about ours, which is fully free at the moment. Applications are still open. It closes mid-January because the program runs for 3 months. And it's pan-Nigeria because it will be virtually delivered. So what that means is that regardless of wherever you are, you know, you get access to that. I'll be taking women in data science, product management, software engineering, and digital marketing too as well, all free, all paid for. To apply for that, it's bit.ly/WITMakeathon. That is WITMAKEATHON. Is a makeathon.
Okay, can you say that again?
Yes, it's bit.ly/WITMAKEATHON. That is bit.ly/WITMakeathon. It's a makeathon to skill up 1,000 girls and women.
Okay.
Yes.
No space for the men.
Obviously, you see, it's becoming very.
I just wanted to get your reaction.
Anyway, very quickly, you have been in this for years now. Like how many years counting?
Okay, so cumulatively, I've run my career for about 12 years.
Whoa.
Right, 12 years. Worked at I crossed from marketing right into technology. So, and before I started Harvest, which is my startup, that is for women, giving them access to savings, impact investments, and credit. I was head of marketing at Milestone, which is an investment conglomerate, right? So I was head of marketing, building products, pushing digital products into the market. Before I got tired, like, wait a minute. Someone's got to address financial access for women too. And if that's got to be me, that's fine.
Okay. Now, and in these 12 years, what would you say was your major milestone as far as tech is concerned, apart from starting your own thing?
Okay. I would say it was building Harvest.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Because I've seen institutions, I've seen organizations, because building itself is huge. Supporting it is another thing, right? And it's got different defined and undefined, you know, components. We built our platform, our tech platform, in less than 6 months. And I've seen institutions that been trying to build in 3 years, in 5 years, and so right. So that was a huge one. And in 18 months, we've rebuilt that platform 3 times now. We are constantly iterating. We are constantly iterating. And that's why I say women with product. Right. In short, the team is always saying they know that in January now we're iterating again. They say, okay. Right. But what that does is that it makes it easier for the users. And we have about 8,000 users on that platform now. Right, because onboarding is easier. So I would say that that's a major milestone, and even if I'm absolutely in love with that platform.
Okay, now let's get personal. From your experience, going to the tech world, you're always on the system, you're trying to get one thing or the other. How did you manage your business or this work and family?
Oh, well, I think that in itself, technology helped me manage.
Okay.
So you asked me out, I don't have PPA. I don't have an EA. And if you look at my digital footprint, people say, I'm sorry. They say, they tire.
Go ahead.
Like I'm, addressing issues there, teaching, speaking, and all of that. And at the same time, I'm a super mom. I tell you, I'm a super mom. So what do? I use schedulers, right? Reminders, location-based reminders. When I get here, remind me of this. right? So I'm getting prompt. So you see,
Yeah.
and that's what tech does. It saves you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So you know, it saves you money, it saves you time, and then scheduling becomes, you know, super easy too.
Okay.
All right, very quickly, just before we let you go, if you are given a platform to talk to the average young woman out there, which of course you've just been given one, what exactly would you say to her?
All right.
About tech.
About tech. Okay, I'll just say that for any young lady, woman listening out there, never ever believe that tech wasn't cut out for you. If anything, I think that history had just done women in tech, that is foremost runners in tech, a disservice by not telling their stories. Look out for Ada Lovelace. Look out for Catherine Johnson. These women were involved in, you know, the first space flight. That's and right. The first, you know, computers. But you do not really hear about them. And, you know, these were centuries back. So whatever your dreams are in tech, it's valid wherever you are. You want to transition in tech, it's valid too. I fully transitioned into tech about 2 years ago. Right, and so I'll just say that go for it. You're as valid as your dreams.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
It was nice having you on the show.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right then, we hope that when next time we call on you, you will come.
Of course.
Sure.
I'll drag on here.
All right, very well then. We will take a break right here, and coming up next, we will see exactly what it's going to lighten up the mood a little bit more. We've been talking tech. Let's laugh a little bit. We'll take a break, and when we come back, the show continues. Please stay.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love said